We got a big week ahead of us in the astrology. We have a full moon happening in Aries on Monday. This is pointing to illuminating of self. Medusa is also up in the mix with this full moon. So this is revealing deeper truths about self, deeper depths about self, removing false masks and roles that we've been playing that are no longer ours to play. There's also Mercury moving into Scorpio, T-square to Pluto. This is the mind, Mercury, being able to translate deeper depths, deeper truths. We're really starting to move into deeper truth this week. It's one of the themes for this week. Give you a couple more themes, and then we'll dive into Monday through Sunday, the 6th through the 12th. I'm going to give you a little heads up. I got to be a little short in this conversation. I'm in Australia, and I fly back to America today. Kind of got a lot of stuff to do with the packing and all of that. So here we go. A couple more themes. One is there's some really interesting initiatory energy coming in midweek. Some really interesting rites of passage. Should we choose them? That's going to be with Chiron and Eris square to Jupiter. Very interesting. We'll get to that when we get to like Wednesday, Thursday time frame. Then also toward the end of the week, we've got some really interesting Mary Magdalene opposing Lilith. We've got some interesting Sun is sextiling that Magdalene Lilith, Merlin, Sekhmet, opposite Uranus, Sedna. What does all of this mean? It's a lot of magic. A lot of magic coming again toward the end of the week. We had that last week as well. We also last week had relationships really highlighted. This full moon is on the relationship axis. We ain't getting out of this relationship recalibration anytime soon. This one has a little bit more focus on ourselves. What it is that you without the weight of the world, you without other people's projections, you without other people's expectations, what is it that you want? What is it that you, from deep soul, true self want? Biggest question to ask this week, and I would ask it every single day, Monday through Sunday. All right, let's get into this day by day. Before I dive into that, I want to just quickly invite you all, if there is any sort of resonance that you have with rewilding, what we do here, if you feel like, gosh, I could so feel this alignment with like these archetypes, I can so feel this alignment with kind of rewilding's mission of just share the best stuff that we can around empowerment of every individual soul and their unique, beautiful connection to something greater, their unique soul expression. How do we walk this beautiful wild soul potential and really open up to all of the possibilities on our dharmic path forward? If there's any resonance with that, we've just, for the first time, opened up affiliate program, like a tribe. We're kind of forming this community of, I don't know what we are, light warriors. I mean, that's such a stupid word, like spiritual. I don't know what we are. But if there's any kind of a resonance for that, you'll find a link below to apply, to kind of just feel. There's a couple videos. You can kind of just feel into what it might mean to partner with ReWilding. That's really how I see it, is this partnership with ReWilding. All right, so that's the biggest announcement that I want to share with you for this week. If that sings, dive in. We'll be in contact with you very, very soon. Okay, let's go into this. Monday's the full moon. So Monday, before the full moon happens, though, we have Mercury moving into Scorpio. This is the mind, Mercury, messenger of the gods. He is moving into completely different territory. So our minds will now be attuned to deeper depths. You might see the world in a deeper way. You might just see people in a deeper way. You might start seeing what's beneath the surface. Things that could happen around this energy, and this will last for a little while, but it's like what's being presented on the surface, what's being said, isn't what you're seeing, isn't what you're perceiving, isn't what you're picking up on. Really, really good training in expansion of consciousness, because what we're going to start to see this entire week is really what was previously unconscious becoming conscious. What was previously hidden from our psyches is right here in the light of day. Could also feel a little bit like we're being gaslit. This could be interesting. Could also feel like you're seeing one thing, the news is saying one thing, but you're feeling something totally different. Your beloved or family or someone you're interacting with is saying one thing, but you're perceiving something very different. It's almost like, not like even necessarily that we're trying to gaslight. It's like unconscious gaslighting. You know, you're being gaslit, but you feel like you're being gaslit. And what do you believe? Do you believe what the 5 senses are saying only? Or do you believe what the other 30 senses are saying? Do you believe what your gut is saying, your intuition is saying? This is going to be some interesting stuff. Could be really good territory to meditate on, to start to come into deeper relationship with our own knowings, your own intuition. We are all in this 2025, 2026 timeframe. We are all becoming extraordinarily psychic. We are all becoming extraordinarily empathic, extraordinarily switched on. We are starting to read minds. We are starting to read energy in a way that we never did before. Also, remember, people are doing that to you. So something that could really be supportive this entire week is a practice around our integrity. How integrous is my system? Can I do some practices? We do this in Bones membership, actually. It was one of the 7 mysteries of working in creation energy. I'll talk a little bit more about that. This is a week of really coming into next right relationship with how we create, next right relationship with how we manifest, next right relationship with how we turn an idea, an inspiration, into actually physical, tangibly bringing it into the real world. So if you've had problems bringing a business in, bringing an idea to life, this is going to be a really good week to work on some of that. Saturn is dancing loudly in that. There's a couple other aspects. I'll talk about that in a minute. But if we kind of come back to this being in integrous, this being, it's like my dog. This is a silly little story, but my dog, my dog is so attuned to a deeper truth, the animal nature of myself, that if my whole energetic system isn't in congruence, right? If it's not in integrous, I could say something to him, but if my body, my energy doesn't line up with all of that, my dog just looks at me like I'm an idiot. I could be saying like, no. And he's like, okay, you're saying no, but I can see the rest of your body is giggling and laughing at me. See what I'm saying? And like, that's where we're all starting to read from now. We're starting to read from this. I'm actually reading. I'm actually perceiving and interpreting like where more of your energy is at than what your words are saying. Wasn't this great? And I think AI is kind of training us to do this in all this false news, because now we have to feel deeper into truth because everything's false now, right? Like everything is like, is that true? Is that real? I've seen a video. I don't even know if that's real. This is an aspect of us that is really switching on quickly. This week is pointing to that. So it could be really good to practice in that. Let's talk about this full moon happening on Monday. So full moon, culmination, completion. Full moon in Aries, self. This is the sign of self. Culmination, completion. What aspects of self are just done? What parts of self have you just like run them to the end of the chapter? Like I just am no longer identifying with this. I am no longer called to express myself as this. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, this full moon is in Aries. Full moons are the moon opposing the sun. So that means the sun's in Libra. Sun in Libra, that's relationship. That's balance. It's harmony. Moon in the sign of self. So it's the relationship axis, self versus other. Things that could be coming up again this week, just like last week, is a lot of relationship reevaluation. Relationship rewriting relationships. Could be culmination, ending, completion of some relationships. Now this could be relationships of all kinds, not even just to people. So really feel into relationships of all kinds because it's about self. My relationship to where I live, my relationship to my work, my relationship to my lover, my children, my dog, my whatever. Very interesting. How much relationships were illuminated last week and this week. There's a couple other aspects coming later in the week that really hit relationships hard. We'll get into that in a minute. So also in this full moon, I spoke a little bit about Mercury going into the underworld already before the full moon happens. That's the mind going into these deeper, more unconscious realms. On Tuesday, the very next day after this full moon, Mercury perfects a square to Pluto. and Parvati. Okay, what does this mean, Sabrina? So also this is happening in the full moon. So the full moon just makes energy louder. It illuminates things. It's full moon. It's a lot of light. It's illuminating and it's light in the dark. So again, lighting up this dark, lighting up what was previously hidden. Now Mercury, translator of the gods, right? Being able to give us the thoughts, the insights around things that are more hidden. Pluto, power. Parvati, masculine and feminine relationship. Sacred sexuality. So we're really in the hidden depths. We're really in revealing deeper truths about self. Now we're looking at relationship because we're on the relationship axis for this full moon. Parvati, what is your relationship to your masculine? What is your relationship to your feminine? Here's a really powerful journal prompt to ask. My own masculine's relationship to my own feminine. Where's that at? What is the power dynamics behind that? That's Pluto. That's Pluto, power, the power dynamics. Power dynamics between my own masculine and my own feminine. Masculine is the doer, feminine is the beer. Masculine is the container creator, the directive force out into the world. Feminine is your life force, the raw energy, how much juice rips through you. Masculine, you could look at consciousness, how well trained is your attention, your focus, your consciousness, and how open and alive is life force and chi, love, energy able to move through you. It's really a powerful week to see deeper truths around our own relationship to our own masculine and our own feminine. Are they fighting? Is he overriding her? Is she believing that he's just a toxic asshole, right? Woo-hoo! We could be seeing a lot of stuff. Now, this could be playing out in our relationships. It could be playing out externally. We've also got an opportunity to really deeply go into this place, journey into this place, reflect on this place, and really make some big changes in this place. There's a couple of aspects that really support this a little bit later in the week, but it's already happening on Monday during this full moon. Okay, so here's the next little interesting piece. Mercury is so in the mix. Mercury, this means we're going to get some clarity. The mind is attuning to many, many things this week. So here's the other piece. Mercury in this full moon on Monday is in a finger of God, fated, a yod, with Uranus and Neptune. So Mercury is kind of the release point, like all energies are pointing at Mercury. That's the mind. This is us translating. What is it that Uranus and Neptune are asking of us? Now we know Uranus and Neptune are a huge part of this consciousness expansion in 2025, 2026. This capacity of what you thought was reality was actually a limited view of reality, and you're starting to see the nature of reality a little bit closer to the truth of the nature of reality. Right? We're talking about this like new earth, new human. You know, what is this like great change that we're going through? This great evolutionary change in humanity that's happening. Neptune and Uranus, they are huge players in this. So what they're saying is, hey, Mercury can translate some of what's going on in a full moon that's in the sign of self. So this is all about self. You want to start to ask questions around what is happening to me? What is the new me? Who is the new me? Right? What are my new values? The new me, my values, the new me, my priorities, the new me, who am I starting to identify as now? It's fated, it's destined, and we're still in the eclipse window. This is the first full moon after the new moon eclipse. It was a new moon eclipse, so this whole moon cycle is eclipse energy. It's still the eclipse fallout. We're still in the shake up to wake up. We're in the fallout now. We're in the get some insights around what life trajectories are changing, what karmic skip steps have happened. Maybe what was a true life path for you pre-eclipses, or the summer of this year. It could be winter if you're in the southern hemisphere like I am now, so it's all super trippy for me. But the middle of this year, we'll just say, what was true the middle of this year, that might not be the highest trajectory anymore. That's how big this is. You might have just suddenly been recalibrated to a new trajectory, a different timeline, a karmic skip step. Really good to reflect on this, create some space for this week. The other thing is to talk about Medusa. Medusa's in such a beautiful aspect. Trine, sextile the sun and moon. Sun and moon, they're on the relationship axis. Aries and Libra. Medusa in the mix. What does Medusa bring? She brings truth. She's a dark goddess. She brings more of that deeper depths. She brings more of that deep. Let me give you the courage to remove the masks. That's Medusa. Let me give you the courage to see through the numbing out, to see through the lower level toxic beliefs about the masculine. Let me give you the courage to be vulnerable. That's Medusa. Let me give you the courage to be vulnerable, to open your heart, to get into some deeper truths of self. All these ways that we protect ourselves and we armor ourselves. Let me help you peel back the layers so you can come to a truer, more authentic expression of self. P.S. Stay tuned. Medusa is one of the big players in 2025. We're doing a little something with Medusa coming up in October, to be revealed maybe next week or the following week. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you don't want to miss things about Medusa, activations with Medusa. What is her Shakti? What is the wisdom of Medusa? Why is she such a huge player in 2025? Also, Sedna Eris. I see this Medusa, Sedna Eris. If I had to pick 3 goddess energies that are really heralding in the new right now, I would pick Medusa, Sedna Eris. If you're interested in a podcast episode on those 3, drop a note below. If there's enough interest, I'll do a specific episode just on those 3 archetypal energies and what they're doing in 2025, 2026, like how they're part of this new humanity, this new earth that we're, kind of tapping into and able to create from. All right, let's move on. So that was Monday. Again, that's going to flavor the whole week, is just this deeper depths being revealed. We've come to the culmination and a lot about self. What is it that I want? Who is it that I am now? What is it that I am stepping into? Mercury's loud all week, so translations are really able to happen. Some clarity for our path forward can really happen this week. All right, let's get into Tuesday. Tuesday, this is where the Mercury perfection happens with Pluto and Parvati. So it's Mercury T square to Pluto and Parvati. Parvati, goddess of sacred union. This could point to your, I'm going to say it like this, your relationship to the divine. Parvati, right? She holds sacred union. So this isn't just sacred union between masculine and feminine. This is your union, your connection with the divine. Your union, your connection with spirit, with your soul. What is your spiritual connection? What is yours? What religions are you leaving behind? What old spiritual belief systems are you leaving behind? She could really be pointing out this, I'm going to say this, taking our power back from religious structures, systems, things, teachers, gurus, shit like that, really taking our power back. This is a very empowering week. Do you dare to reclaim your power this much? Do you dare to stop externally sourcing your power and start to internally source your power from like a soul esteemed, deeply connected to spirit, to soul, to something far fucking greater than just little external ways that we source our power from? Very interesting. So that's also that Pluto squaring. All right, let's keep going with this. I want to also say, though, before moving on to Wednesday, is that Parvati is opposing Pluto, right? And then Mercury squaring the two. So he's bringing this into consciousness. He's making this readily available to our thoughts and our communications. So it's deeper depths with both our relationship to masculine and feminine, should that sort of sink to us, like the tantric path. Also, deeper depths to your spiritual connection. That's Parvati, opens that door. And power, what are you being empowered by? What's your relationship to power? Now here, interestingly, Parvati is sextile Uranus and Sedna. I talked about this a little bit last week. Uranus and Sedna. Uranus is the great awakener. Sedna is the complete transformation. Uranus, great awakener, Kundalini awakener. That's what he is. So any feminine archetypal energy in aspect to Uranus is going to be getting a blast of waking up. So Uranus is saying, of course, this whole year, he's saying, sudden wake up. Sudden wake up. This is like deeper oceanic depths of feminine mysteries waking up. This is an ongoing thing. Deeper oceanic depths of feminine waking up. It's also an initiation of the feminine into the new feminine. It's really what Uranus is pointing at over this year and next year. So this is happening, and now them being in this flowing aspect to Parvati. Flowing aspect to Parvati. Now Uranus is saying, Parvati, like, let's wake up some of Parvati. Let's wake up some of Parvati sex magic. Let's wake up some of Parvati embodied divinity, embodied spirituality. She's the goddess. She's the feminine. She holds like the union of the masculine and feminine. Let's wake this up. Let's wake this up some more. And Sedna being there is also saying, let's make this a complete embodied transformation. Let's make this a complete embodied transformation. Not just your mind transforms, not just you read about this shit in a book and, oh, wow, that sounds great. It's actually you become it. That's what Sedna is saying, is you're becoming the new earth. That's really what this is about. It's the becoming of it. Like if we're missing the embodiment piece, this week is going to smash us on, no, sorry, sunshine. You're becoming the new earth. As within, so without. The becoming of it. You are the embodiment of it. The feminine is screaming at us this week. She is screaming at us. She's like, I want this in your womb. I want this in your belly. I want this in your heart. I want this in every cell of your being. I want this so deep into your bones. You are the becoming of this new earth. All right. So that's Tuesday only. All right, let's keep going. Wednesday's a lighter day. So Monday and Tuesday really deep into the depths. Wednesday gets a little bit lighter. Here's why. Venus is in a sextile to Jupiter. That's a beautiful flowing aspect. Jupiter's grace bomb. So Jupiter, grace bomb to Venus, the Venusian part of self. They're both considered the benevolence. So it's like, oh, okay, flowing. Okay, whew. We might just want to take it easy on Wednesday, have a little dance party with ourselves, make a little love, right? What is that song? Like, do a little dance, make a little love. I don't know, get down tonight. I don't even know if I'm saying those words right, but that's kind of what the energy of Wednesday is about. Interesting though. Yes, there's this light stuff, but they're pulling in the big stuff coming on Thursday, which is Chiron, Eris. So they're pulling in healing. But this is what I like about this healing part, is that it can happen in a very light-filled way. So when we think of healing, especially with Chiron, we start to think like, oh, deep, dark depths. It's going to be such a terrible, throwing up in a bucket, kind of need to do a huge medicine journey and almost die to get the healing that's coming. That's not what this is saying. This is saying that these healings can happen really quickly in just snap of a finger. Really quick, really beautifully. Part of that is because of this Venus-Jupiter. And they're... So it's Chiron Eris conjunction. This is the deep rites of passage. This is deep initiation. But it doesn't have to be this deep rites of passage initiation of old, where like in order to become the shaman, you had to go through a near-death experience. That's kind of the initiations of the old. But these initiations now and in this energy can be these initiations of the new. Initiations of the new, where it's just like, oh my gosh, this joyful, blissful, orgasmic experience I had with my lover is suddenly initiated me into a completely new level of self, a completely new expression of self, a completely new expanded way of being in myself. It's really stunning. So this is partially because this Chiron-Eris conjunction, we're now on Thursday, by the way. Chiron-Eris conjunction, this is the second of 3 that's happening with them. They're square Jupiter, trine Shiva. So if they're square Jupiter, Jupiter is doing that beautiful dance with Venus. So that's part of why this is just miraculous. There's grace here. It can happen a lot more benevolently, a lot easier and a lot more gently. So like making love, dancing, gentle, beautiful, grace-filled shifts and changes and healings and rites of passage on both Wednesday and Thursday. Here's what I like about Shiva being trine to this Chiron-Eris conjunction that happens on Thursday. Shiva brings consciousness. He brings consciousness. He brings the fullness of the divine masculine to it. The fullness of the divine masculine with all of the divine masculine gifts, sacred gifts. So it's interesting that we have Shiva's consort, Parvati, bringing the fullness of the feminine gifts. They also both bring this deep connection to spirit, They bring this deep connection to your soul, to something so much greater than, like the sacred union. They hold that. It's pretty stunning. Shiva, I also see in this, is really opening up our consciousness to expand into more unlimited potentials, really expanding beyond upper limits and belief systems. Like, can you experience more joy? Can you allow more joy into your life? Can you allow more ease and grace into your life? We did a lot of work on this in the October 1st Bones workshop. This was one of the greatest workshops that I've ever facilitated. It has to do with the 7 mysteries of creation, manifesting in the new. And one of these is that we have to blow up these upper limits of what we believe is possible. Unconscious upper limit. How are we unconsciously limiting our creations in the world? We don't know what we don't know. So this was a lot about pointing at this 80% of unconscious that we're creating from, where we're just creating silly relationships that we're calling it. We're creating, unhealthy, challenging situations that we maybe don't have to be doing anymore. So if something like that sings to you, if creation sings to you, if an activation in the new energy, the new earth, the new human, all of that sings to you, check that out. We'll put a link below to get into the October 1st workshop. The replay is available. You can dive right in immediately. Okay, so let's move on. We now are moving into Friday. Friday, we get into Priapus energy. So this is an archetypal energy not talked about very much in the astrology. Priapus is the Greek statue of a masculine god who has a really huge phallus. There's a couple of things that he represents. One is he represents fertility. We're very accustomed to feminine fertility being represented. But what about masculine fertility? We seemingly think feminine fertility is just, oh, wow, amazing, this beautiful, fertile crops, fertile land, abundance. And then we see masculine fertility. We're like, ooh, toxic, ooh. All right. Or do you not? Maybe you see a Greek god statue with a huge phallus and you go, wow, abundance, life force, a shaft of life fertilizing everything. This is amazing. This points to our relationship to masculine sexual energy. This is more revealing the hidden belief systems that are unconsciously showing up in our sex lives, that are unconsciously showing up in our relationships. What is your relationship to the masculine? How healed is your relationship to the masculine? How evolved is your own masculine or the masculine energy that you're calling into your life? How is it a third stage divine expression of masculine energy? Is it a second stage kind of distorted, toxic expression of masculine energy? Priapus, you don't get to lie about this, right? When he's in the mix, he's opposing Mercury. So this is that mercurial, the mind. And many of us are very identified with the mind. So we know our thoughts, we sense our thoughts. So this could be on Friday really showing us our true relationship to masculine. And I'm going to say masculine dark. Like if we're talking dark gods, it's not dark bad. Like this is the dark masculine. This is the masculine power. What is our relationship to masculine power? Just like feminine power, what is your true deep relationship to feminine power? Do you judge it? Do you demonize it? Do you fear it? Same thing with masculine power here. Do you judge it? Do you demonize it? Do you fear it? Have you ever experienced evolved, high, pure masculine power that is not disassociated or disconnected from his sexuality? Same with the feminine. It's just stunning. It's stunning what we're able to see. Now get this. Not only is Mercury opposing Priapus, they're square Pallas Athena, warrior. Feminine warrior. She's a strategist. She's a bit of an alchemist. She's got intuition and action. She kind of holds a bit of both masculine and feminine in her. I like this. It's like I am a warrior for you seeing your relationship to the masculine. It's like the feminine. I listened to this really beautiful conversation, and it was, you know what, the feminine's greatest thing that she could do is forgive the masculine. The greatest thing that the feminine could do. I mean, yeah, you got to rage it out and roar it out until you're done, because there's pent up emotion and trapped emotion from ancestral lines and all the, oppression and repression. But the feminine forgiving. The masculine, here's the other side of the coin. I've been feeling this so loud this entire week, is the masculine. The greatest thing the feminine could do is to forgive the masculine. The greatest thing the masculine could do is find a sense of worth. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of the fullness of the feminine. All that toxic stuff on top of it, it's because he doesn't feel worthy. He feels less than. He feels like all that stuff is saying she's too much. It's because he doesn't feel enough. He doesn't feel he's enough. Isn't that interesting? Dive into that shit. That's some real hidden, buried stuff that sits underneath all of the toxic expressions, all of the fear, all of the crap that we put on top of that. He doesn't feel like enough. She feels like she's too much. They both need to forgive each other. They both need to forgive each other and stop feeling like she's too much, and him stop feeling like he's not enough. It's crazy, 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 crazy powerful. We have this really amazing course. It's not open right now, but we'll open it. I got this hit before coming on the podcast. And I thought, well, if this happens during the conversation, we'll open it for a week. It's called Reunion, the reunion experience. And it's all about masculine and feminine. It's all about bringing the masculine and feminine into next right relationship, really doing some of this deep healing work between that rift. Him forgiving her, her forgiving him, really finding that enoughness in the masculine, and then really like healing that relationship or that belief system of too muchness in the feminine. It's like a 7-part workshop series. I think it's still at some really crazy discount because we haven't raised the price on that in forever. It's one of the greatest bodies of work that I've done it's definitely the greatest body of work that I have online around masculine and feminine, around healing this relationship, and around at the end you come into sacred union. It comes, so this Parvati piece, the Shiva piece, what they're talking about, you come into union at the end. We'll open that just for this week. You'll find a link below. It'll end on October 12th. So this is the only week that you can get it. And then we're going to close that because it's not one that we have open all the time or promote really. Okay. Let's keep going. So Saturday, we have Venus opposing Saturn. This is feminine in opposition to Father Time, Lord of Karma. Feminine in opposition. Opposition is challenge. It's tough. Feminine in opposition to the patriarchy, we could say, to the old masculine. Here's the interesting thing, though. When Saturn, as an archetypal energy, is moving at 3rd stage, he is the fullness of the divine masculine. Isn't that beautiful? It's so stunning. So stunning. But he's going to deliver the karmic lessons in your relationship to the masculine until you are done and until you can receive a 3rd stage evolved, high-level divine expression of the masculine. But Saturn, true to form, is going to deliver the lessons you need, the karmic experiences that you need, so that you can come to the highest relationship with the masculine. 3rd stage divine masculine in yourself, in your relationship, in others. If you have not moved to that place, you won't even be able to see that in the world or see that in others. It will be seen through these shaded glasses of there is only toxic masculine available. There is only, whatever. Same with the feminine. It's vice versa. It's the same with the feminine. So that's interesting. Isn't this wild going on this whole week? I mean, it's so much masculine and feminine, so much relationship, both internal relationship, external relationship, all again held under that full moon energy of full moon in Aries and that sun in Libra, the sun in Libra. This whole week, sun in Libra is wanting balance, is wanting harmony, is wanting them to come into this love-making sacred union, because that is part of what empowers us. Having these two forces dancing and operating smoothly and beautifully within ourselves is going to change the entirety of our world. Again, go dive into that reunion experience if you want to experientially work in this territory. You want to do like the deep empowerment in this territory. You actually want to go to the root cause of these rifts inside of ourselves. Go do that journey. All right. So also on Saturday, more around this like intense feminine. Mary Magdalene, that's heart. That's also her in relationship to Yeshua. Mary Magdalene opposite the Lilith asteroid. This is the Adam and Eve story, and now the Mary Magdalene Jesus story in opposition. This is wild to me. And then the sun is sextile Mary Magdalene, trine Lilith. So the sun is just illuminating Mary Magdalene, illuminating Lilith. Lilith brings out The inequality between masculine and feminine. Mary Magdalene opposing her is like, wow, let's really heal this. Let's really bring some sacred love, some sacred self-acceptance to the rift between the masculine and the feminine. Also on this day, we have Merlin and Sekhmet, high voltage wizard, like wizard magic, high voltage magic. They're conjunct opposite Uranus and Sedna in a T-square to Kali, sextile Pluto. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. If I had to translate this into a couple words, I would say aiming true. This is kind of Sekhmet, aiming true. Aiming true. I would say Kali holding us to aiming true. I would say Pluto giving us deeper depths to be revealed, but it's really pointing at aiming true, like aiming true, true you, true north, your truest trajectory, with a whole lot of truth bombers behind you, a whole lot of fierce grace, Kali, Pluto behind you, dark god, dark goddess, a whole lot of, you cannot bullshit yourself, you cannot lie to yourself. Like, what is your true north? What is the true you? That's what that's pointing at. That's Sekhmet. Sekhmet holds true north, holds true you. She's got enough juice and enough power to hold all of those energies in alignment to that. Plus the Sedna Uranus, it is the true you, the true north. What is it that you are transforming into as the new earth that you are becoming, the new human you are becoming? Then on Sunday, the biggest energy on Sunday is, again, this Priapus square Pallas Athena sextile Hygeia. I really like this sextile Hygeia. Sextile Hygeia is Hygeia, Kundalini, goddess of miraculous healing and awakening. Kind of goes back to the energy of Wednesday, Thursday, where it can very easily and gracefully be moving us through a rites of passage. Easily and gracefully moving us through a healing. That's Hygeia, Kundalini goddess of miraculous healing. It's miraculous. It's very gentle. Sometimes you don't even know that it's happening. Our body wisdom activation is a great way to work with Hygeia. So if you're like, gosh, I really want to work with this, this Shakti, this body wisdom, this like miraculous healing energy, hold this, listen to this conversation. Go do the body wisdom activation. It's $47. Do the body wisdom activation and hold healing. Hold healing in your being as you do this. Hold healing the rift of the masculine and feminine. Then if you want to go deeper, go into the reunion experience. If you want to just work straight up in this relationship, that's the greatest one that I can share with you, is the reunion experience. It changed my life. It changed all of ReWilding, that one. Changed all of ReWilding. And then the last thing that I want to share with you, let me feel for a second. Yeah, I think I just want to share really quickly my gratitude for us being here together. I want to share my gratitude for the whole of our community. Every comment that y'all leave, every subscriber thing, it just helps. It helps us. Whatever we feel like we're doing as ReWilding, which to me is just, very simply said, make good shit and share it. So every share, every like, every comment, it helps that mission, that make good shit and share it. And you just never know. You just never know. You never know. You never know how that share or that comment or that, we just never know the ripple effect. And to me, it's like we have this great choice of rippling good stuff out in the world or kind of just letting the bad stuff take over. So it's kind of why ReWilding and I, like the whole team and I, we're just like ramping up, like more good stuff. We have this like moment in time where we get to really influence humanity, I think. And we've got this real opportunity. It's not going to last long. 2025, 2026 is why I'm having all these conversations and really focused on this new earth and new human, is because I can see, I can feel, I know that we have this short window of time, both for our own inner transformation to make these huge leaps and bounds, and also for the external transformation in humanity. And so just thank you. Thank you all for your support. If you're called to join the affiliate program and help us to share more good stuff, please do. If you're called to leave a comment or share this with someone, please do. If you're not called to, please don't. Like, just really and truly, so much about true self this week. This energy is so much about true self, your empowerment, your connection, without externally sourcing it through anyone or anything, including ReWilding, including myself. So Here's to your empowerment. All right. Live more, love more. True is true north. If you've never heard me say that, I'll talk more about that in upcoming videos. All right. Huge love to you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you.